Wonderful. Good Tuesday evening, everybody. So glad that you're here with me tonight for this very, very special Women's History Month event. Buffalo reads Dear Kamala, featuring, of course, the Buffalo area letter writers. And just a brief introduction for me, I'm Emily Lampa.
And I'm Melanie Camp, and Emily and I work together on AM Buffalo, which is on 10 a.m. weekday mornings on WKBW 7ABC. So you can catch us then. And we are very honored to be MCs tonight and listen to some amazing letters that have been written by brilliant Western New Yorkers. Very excited about this.
Okay, so the book, as you know, is called Dear Kamala, Women Write to the New Vice President. And tonight, of course, you're going to hear from Dr. Peggy Brooks-Bertram. Welcome, the woman who compiled all of these letters and edited this book. And you're also going to hear from many of the local women who contributed their thoughts and their words to this effort.
And if you have any questions, there will be a moment at the end after we've heard everyone speak. You can just jump into the chat. You can put your questions in as it goes, but they may get lost. So you may want to save them for question time. And another thing you can do, and I see someone has raised their hand, but her name is Numbers. So if we call you by your numbers, but yeah, if you want to know how to raise your hand, if you haven't done it before, if you go down to the reactions, there's a little reactions emoji. And if you click on that, it'll bring up some reactions and also gives you the option to raise your hand. And you can just click on that for when it comes to question time. So yeah, that should be.
I see a hand raised. Betty Jean Grant's hand is raised.
Oh, now Betty's got her name. You were just Numbers before, Betty.
She was hiding.
Oh, I think Betty's trying to say something.
Can we unmute
her? Unmute.
Thank you. Yeah, I have trouble getting the screen up, the Kamala Harris screen. I was not able to do it. I couldn't find the little icon or the button to push, so I just got a generic background. I apologize.
That's okay.
For that.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
It's a hard-working warrior background.
Yeah, it is. Certainly.
That's right. Well, everybody, we just have to say that we are so grateful that everyone is here with us tonight, and we do have a wonderful night ahead of us. But first, we'd like to, of course, introduce Derinda Darden. She's the Assistant Deputy Director of Information Services Outreach for the Buffalo and Erie County Library, and she is tonight, and the county library is tonight's event host. So thank you so much, and please welcome Derinda.
Thank you, Emily. Good evening, everyone. I am pleased to welcome you to tonight's program, Buffalo Reads Dear Kamala. If you have a question or a comment during the program, as Melanie mentioned, you can type it into the chat and we will try to share them with everyone. The library proudly hosted the virtual book launch for this timely publication back on February the 2nd, and we were touched by the passion of editor Dr. Peggy Brooks-Bertram, the captivating speakers, and the enthusiasm of the audience. Tonight, appropriately, during Women's History Month, 13 local and very talented letter writers will share their messages to Vice President Harris, followed by a Q&A session. Thank you for joining us this evening. Now I'm gonna hand it back over to our wonderful MCs, Emily Lampa and Melanie Camp of AM Buffalo. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Derinda. And now we would love to introduce the woman who is the creative force behind this book, editor, Dr. Peggy Brooks-Bertram. It's all lots of silent clapping. It's like cricket. Well, Emily and I can make the noise.
Yes. We'll give you the sound effects. Is Dr. Peggy available?
She's
on mute.
We have to unmute her.
You're on mute, Dr. Peggy. Who would have ever thought you're on mute would become such a
Can you hear me?
Saying yes, we can.
Good.
Yes.
Good. Great. Let me just tell you, this is such an auspicious array of beautiful women, women who are letter writers and storytellers and a whole bunch of other things. And I'm absolutely thrilled to be here tonight with you. And I know that we'll be doing many more of these. I just want to share a few comments that I've written with you, and I'll have to look away from the camera, but nonetheless, I want to say that on February the 2nd, 2021, Indiana University Press published my latest book. It's called Dear Kamala, Women Write to the New Vice President, a book of 120 letters to Kamala Harris. Women from 11 countries and 5 continents submitted letters for the book. I'm currently on a virtual tour on various social media platforms, including Facebook, Instagram, and the new and exciting social media platform, Clubhouse. On March 23rd, the Buffalo and Erie County Library is featuring this reading, a reading from some of the women from Buffalo who contributed letters to the book. Many of these women have been recognized for their work all across the country, but nothing is more special than being recognized at home. It is with great pleasure to announce that that will take place tonight. I also take great pleasure as the president and co-founder of the Uncrowned Queens Institute, now more than 20 years old, to announce that most of these writers here tonight are also part of that outstanding digital archive and repository of African-American women called the Uncrowned Queens Institute for Research and Education on Women, Inc., now known as the Uncrowned Community Builders. We want to thank all of these queens and others for their confidence in this project and their willingness to show their support for Kamala Harris on the momentous historical occasion of her election. Because of their histories, letters, poems, jump rope rhymes, powerful spoken word directives, and recipes, we are now in the history books of women supporting women in their age-old tradition of letter writing and without the use of the emoji. No holds were barred in these submissions. They told stories, some with long-held secrets. They told of loss, of triumphs, of loves, of fears, of hopes, the ever-present discrimination and racism in our lives and our dreams for a better life for all. It is with the utmost love, compassion, and sincerity that I welcome these queens and their compatriots to this historic occasion hosted by one of the oldest libraries in the country, the Buffalo and Erie County Public Library. And I want to thank the editor of Indiana University Press, Gary Dunham, for allowing me to revisit the publishing well one more time on behalf of the Black woman. May his tribe increase. And in ending, I'd like to add a couple of things. One is that when two people get together and are able to orchestrate a project, certainly something of this magnitude, they need to tell you how they met. They need to tell you the road they traveled to get together. And I'm asking my friend Jennifer Parker, who I would have been helpless without, especially from the digital area, to at least cite 2 examples that show you very poignantly the road we traveled and how we got together. Take it away, Jennifer.
Well, thank you, Dr. Bertram. Let me tell you, everyone, Peggy wrote August the 12th. We're friends on Facebook. And she put out a post. She said, now that Kamala Harris is the pick of Joe Biden, let's get to work for her. I'm taking a needed break from other activities and putting together a book for the vice president nominee. The tentative title is The Harris Letters, Put a Wind Beneath Her Wings. Women celebrate the VP domination of Kamala Harris. This is truly an occasion, and no group can celebrate and support more wonderfully than women, all women. I urge you to respond with letters of support that will aid her through this incredible, perilous, but historic journey. I have put together a list of at least 100 women. Some of you I have met before and hope for over 100. So that's part of, and I saw that and I emailed Peggy and then I called her and I said, do you need help? And I embraced that vision because I said, oh gosh, I remember all the other books. I have for years been watching her and her Uncrowned Queens co-founder, Dr. Nevergo, from afar. I've been watching them for years. Went to their first conference, just looked up to them as if I was a little girl. I looked up to them for years. And then I remember in 2007, I put on the Buffalo Book Fair, and Peggy and her co-founder, they said, do you need help? We're going to be a sponsor. And they helped me at a time I needed a lot of help, and they didn't know it. So when I read this, I said, this is my time to say thank you in a big way to Dr. Bertram. And I called her and I said, I'm here. I'm going to help you. And then as we start working, and boy, can Peggy work you. She has a big vision and she puts the plan out there. And we were looking for something. And then I was looking through my books and I found the original volume 1 of the Uncrowned Queens, African American Community Builders of Western New York. And I was so privileged to be among the ladies that is listed in that book, bios in that book, volume 1. And I went to the book signing that was at the Buffalo Museum of Science, and it was the best I've ever seen. And both of those ladies signed my book. And so I was flipping through the book one night and I said, oh my gosh, Peggy. And I took a picture, and Peggy signed my book in 2002 to Jennifer. We will be working together, 2002. Now, who would have ever known? And I have learned so much from this lady. I have learned how to publish a book. I have learned how to edit a book. I have learned, and her history knowledge is unbelievable. And I love history. So I just sit at her feet and just listen. And it has been just a joy, ladies. So whenever you have this opportunity, don't forget people that have been in your life and been part of your journey, because they were put on that path for a reason, and embrace it. And that's my story.
Thank you, Jennifer.
You're welcome, Peggy.
Let's proceed. Whoever is next. I think it's EMCs.
That is amazing. I think Emily might need to be unmuted. Do you know what I love the most is Emily and I did get to speak with both of you ladies before in the lead up to this event. And what I love is how, Dr. Bertram, you are such a master manifester. I mean, this book alone was started before Kamala Harris was the vice president, but you had all intentions of setting it out there and making it be and making it happen. So I do love that you wrote all the way back in 2002 to Jennifer that you would be working together. So I think we can take the power of manifestation away from tonight for sure.
Yes.
So,
and you know what?
Unbelievable.
So much amazing accomplishments. And we should mention that before we move on, that Dr. Bertram, you are a native of Maryland, which actually speaks to my heart because I just came from Delmarva before I came up to Buffalo, but you are now currently a resident here in Buffalo, New York, a proud resident. Dr. Bertram is a multi-talented individual with interests across a broad spectrum, including public education, public health, journalism, creative writing, and independent scholarship on various topics in African-American history. You are a graduate of Goucher College in Baltimore, Maryland, and received a master's and doctorate from the Johns Hopkins University School of Hygiene and Public Health. And she's also completed a second doctorate in American Studies from the University of Buffalo. So very highly decorated. That's wonderful.
Yes. So amazing. I mean, the list just goes on and on. Do we continue with all of the amazing things that you've done, Dr. Brooks-Bertram? Of course, you did mention the Uncrowned Queens, which is an amazing institute for research and education on women for Black women, African-American women. And so that is just absolutely amazing. And the website is worth taking a look at. It's the uncrownedcommunitybuilders.com. It's the largest website directory in the world of African-American women and their achievements in their community. So that's just an amazing thing that you have set up with that. So definitely jot that website down. I'll give it to you again, the uncrownedcommunitybuilders.com. Should definitely put that on your list of websites that you need to know about if you don't already know about it.
Exactly.
I'd like to point out, can I speak?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay,
absolutely.
great. I'd like to point out that the work with that website and that historical document was accomplished with my longtime friend and colleague, Dr. Barbara Seals Nevergold. And we couldn't have done it alone. And I thank her all the time for the work that we put on together to create that repository of information. And again, it's used all over the world, and it continues today.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bertram. We appreciate that. And so tonight, we get to also meet 13 of the Buffalo letter writers who contributed to this book. They'll, of course, be reading some short excerpts from their letters. And we start tonight with Betty Jean Grant. Betty is a former Buffalo, New York City Council member, Buffalo Board of Education board member, and former county legislator and founder of We Are Women Warriors, a women's advocacy group. Betty, this is your moment.
Thank you. Good evening to the beautiful women who are assembled today and also to the community. I'm going to read my letter now. Dear Vice President Harris, congratulations on being selected by Joe Biden to be his running mate and our first female and minority Vice President of the United States. As a woman and a minority, I am thankful that the leaders of our country are finally recognizing and utilizing the contribution women can bring to the table and to the world. Your selection by Joe Biden not only broke through that women need not apply door, it also pushed you, a woman, only 1 or 2 elections away from the Oval Office and the presidency. I am happy that you are a member of HBCU family, the Links, AKA, and other sorority or sisterhoods organizations. And to those who say that you're not an African-American, I say your father, African-American ancestor, was dragged off the slave ship in Jamaica, while my ancestors were on those same ships traveling to the deep South. Kamala, you are us and we are you. You call yourself a person of color. I call myself an African American. We all are the same. You and I are the descendants of a glorious people who came to this continent, not by choice, but who thrive and excel nevertheless. You and I rock because we both have that Black girl magic. Congratulations.
Yes.
Oh, that is so wonderful, Betty. Thank you so much. So amazing. Did you write that when you said congratulations? Did you write that before she had been elected as vice president?
Absolutely.
I love that. There is power in that, isn't there?
Yes, there is.
It's so amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that, Betty. So wonderful. Really,
You're
really
welcome.
awesome. Next, we have Judith Halbright. Judith, I hope I'm saying your name correctly. We're going to unmute you and then you can correct me. But Judith is a licensed clinical social worker and psychotherapist. She's the founder of Home of Champions. It's a program in upstate New York that identifies leaders emerging from the foster care system and supports them towards becoming champions of their best selves. That's an amazing thing that you do. Judith, you have a lifetime of advocacy work. It's focused on the importance of all children having a home base and continuous mentorship. Judith, thank you so much for joining us tonight and reading your letter. Are you able to unmute? I think if you click unmute,
yes.
There we go.
Oh, there we go. Thank you, my dear friend, Dr. Peggy Bertram. She has been an inspiration to me in Buffalo and throughout my life. I really do think that she's an incredible human being, and I thank you for your friendship and your guidance. And thank you, ladies, this consciousness of this magnificence and championship. So I am writing this letter to the Vice President Harris of the United States. You empower us. You empower us all to be better citizens and to enhance our efforts to serve our country, especially our disconnected and disadvantaged youth. This has been a long passion of mine and a special interest as a social worker in New York City, and then as an executive director of a foster care agency in New York City, and now as the founder of Home of Champions. I realize that kids coming out of the foster care system that get to college on their own merit, only 3%, and that's 26% in the country, that get to college, only 3% graduate. Why? And that is because they don't have the strong support system. So Home of Champions was founded on those principles that we screen kids coming out of the system to be leaders. And Home of Champions the site is in New Paltz, New York, but it's for all New York State children, for youth that are coming out of the system that get to college. And it is the site where Muhammad Ali trained and Floyd Patterson. So these are the great champions that came from the worst situations who became great, because as Muhammad Ali said, you can have champions aren't made in gyms. And I tell the kids this, champions are made because they have the will and the skill. What's most important is that they have the will. So dear Vice President, the whole world's excited about you in this moment. And as in your new job as Vice President, I urge you to change the system, to embrace those kids that are forgotten even before COVID. Now they're even more forgotten. They are reaching out to you to please help them to attain achievement. And the kids that are aging out of foster care who still need a governmental mechanism to stay in care, we encourage you to change that system that they can remain in care until age 26. We also encourage partnerships among colleges, social service organizations, and other businesses to help these youth become who they want to be. We don't want to see our disconnected youth fall between the cracks because they can't be independent, because they are homeless, or because they are unemployed. You need to help us. You need to move forward and help change the system. We look forward to your support. And I say, on behalf of these children, we're striving to move forward, and we're depending on you, Vice President Harris, to make the change now, before it's too late.
Thank you so much, Judith. You are an advocate for those kids, and we cannot forget about them. That is wonderful. Thank you so much for your excerpt from your letter. And we can't wait to hear from everybody else if they're as great as what we've heard so far. We now welcome Sandy White. Sandy, are you there? Sandy is a Buffalo, New York native, of course, journalist, urban planner, filmmaker, and owner of the Mustard Seed World Consulting Group. Sandy, it's now your time.
Thank you. Dr. Bertram, thank you. Thank you. Ladies, Madam Vice President, I'd like to share my letter with you, a little bit about my journey. Dear Vice President Harris, I want to tell you about the day the music stopped. As a former caregiver and daughter of a father who valiantly battled Alzheimer's disease, I humbly ask you to please join the fight to end the 6th leading cause of death in the United States. I, like you, I'm on a mission. And my goal is to end this disease, which strips men and women of their memories and their dignity.
We got you, Sandy.
As a volunteer board member of the Alzheimer's Association of Western New York, I fight in memory of my dad, who was a brilliant, fun-loving, kind businessman, a musician, father of 5 children, grandfather, and great-grandfather, who, ladies, regularly serenaded my mother with love songs, yes, until one day, so sorry, I did this so well before. He put down his beloved Selmer saxophone, and the music stopped. So, Madam Vice President, this is the ask tonight. I ask you to commit to a cure. Increase funding for research, increase financial support for caregivers, respite care, financial support for caregivers. Increase engagement and outreach to African Americans, Hispanics, Asian, and Native American communities, and call on more education on how health disparities impact at-risk Black and Brown communities. Create a special office in the White House, Madam President, to focus on all these existing efforts underway right now and challenges with a strategic comprehensive plan. And finally, Madam Vice President, I ask you to join and support us. Support us. I know you do. We love you. Do not forget us, my sister. We have not forgotten you, and we continue to pray for you. Thank you.
Wow, Sandy, that was amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. And that was beautiful. That was the perfect delivery. So much. Yeah, such a beautiful read. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. So next we have Jennifer. So Jennifer Parker, we have heard from her earlier this evening, but this is Jennifer, your official welcome as we take you off mute. But Jennifer is the founder of Jackson Parker Communications. So this is a little background on Jennifer. Jennifer is also a PR, Jackson Parker Communications is a PR and marketing firm with a focus on making nonprofits, entrepreneurs, and tech startups stand out. Energized by making things happen and the love of community, Jennifer has served on several community boards and has received awards and nominations recognizing her work. And Jennifer, tonight you are going to read your letter to Vice President Harris.
Thank you so much, everyone. My letter is about the importance of historical Black colleges and universities. At Johnson C. Smith University, where I grew up in Charlotte, North Carolina, it's a place where I tried out my leadership wings. It's where I was prepped for law school in the world. And it's where I met my Buffalo-born husband. And that's how I ended up in Buffalo. Dear Vice President Kamala Harris, I write to congratulate you on your historic success and ask you to always remember the importance of historic Black colleges and universities, HBCUs. I share a part of my story because I believe you understand the need to stabilize these legacy institutions. Attending college, especially at HBCU, was a major part of my family teachings and expectations. Dad, a child of a sharecropper, had 12 siblings and worked with his 3 brothers to help send his sisters to college. They all HBCUs. They had all set a foundation about the importance of education to lift a family out of poverty. What I didn't realize is that my HBCU education and experiences would shape my life forever. Kamala, your intelligence and strength resonate boldly. As a graduate of a HBCU, I understand that confidence and persistence. There are many graduates of historical Black colleges who credit their confidence and Black pride to their HBCU experiences. My choice was Johnson C. Smith University. And my lifelong dedication to uplifting and empowering African Americans and serving community was cultivated as a student at JCSU. The lessons were tough. As you know, high expectations and excellence were part of the success formula. So we forged ahead to not only create a path for our career success, but also for the next generation. I would love to see a new plan for HSBCUs as we prepare for a new America. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. And I have to say, Jennifer might not admit to it right now, but she helped set all of this up. So if you are grateful for this opportunity to hear from these lovely, beautiful, intelligent, amazing women, thank Jennifer. Make sure that you send her a chat message right now and tell her thank you. I spoke to her for hours last night leading up to this event. So I'm grateful for you.
Thank you for listening.
Oh, it was a pleasure. So thank you again, Jennifer. And now we get to hear from Nina Hurd, another woman that I completely hold in high esteem. Nina, she built a long and successful career with General Motors Corporation and as a community volunteer. She has served on a number of community boards in Buffalo and Michigan and is the co-founder of Friends for a Better Buffalo, as well as Excellence in Education Awards, which we have had on AM Buffalo to talk about many times in recent weeks. So we're so excited to welcome you now to speak and to read your letter.
Awesome. Thank you, Emily. Thank you so much, Dr. Peggy. I truly appreciate you for allowing me to be a part of this awesome book and being a part of this awesome forum this evening. So my message, really, the overarching message that I have, not only for Vice President Harris, but for all women across this world, is to continue to stand in and speak your truth. So here's my message. Dear Vice President Harris, I'm often reminded of an old gospel song that says, "May the works I've done speak for me. May the service I give speak for me. When I'm resting in my grave and there's nothing to be said, may the works I've done and the service I gave speak for me." This song often resonates with me, and I hope with you as well. I truly believe the song speaks to the works you've done for many years in ensuring equality for all. You are quoted as saying that your Amma would say, "Don't sit around and complain about things, do something." Well, Vice President Harris, you are doing something. You have made your Amma proud. Just like you, my mother passed from colon cancer. And just like you, it is my goal to always make her proud. Your Amma is proud of how you have united people. You have united individuals, and you believe that our unity, strength, and our diversity is our power. We reject the myth of us versus them. We are in this together. Your Amma is proud of how you have fought against injustices. You have fought for children and survivors of sexual assault. You have fought against transnational gangs, and you've taken on the biggest banks and helped take down some of the biggest for-profit colleges. Your Amma is proud of your stance on abortion. You believe that we cannot tolerate a perspective that is about going backward and understanding that women have agency, women have value, women have authority to make decisions about their own lives and their own bodies. Your AMA is proud of your stance on the protest of 2020. You said, let's speak the truth. People are protesting because Black people have been treated as less than human in America, because our country has never fully addressed the systemic racism that has plagued our country since its earliest days. It is the duty of every American to fix it. No longer can some wait on the sidelines, hoping for incremental change. In times like this, silence is complicity. My prayer for you is that the Lord continues to bless you with the strength, patience, and tenacity to continue serving our country and make it even better and equal for all. I encourage you to continue to stand in and speak your truth, even when you may have to stand alone, so that your works and service will continue to speak for you. Not only is your AMA proud of you, many women across the world are also proud of you. Stay blessed.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Nina. That is so powerful. Oh my goodness. This is so wonderful to just hear people read from the heart and also just with so much power. Nina, that was amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So next we are going to get Sharon Amos, PhD, to jump up, unmute. And Sharon is a historian, a poet, an author, and a retired faculty member of the University of Buffalo Education Opportunity Center. She is the president of the Buffalo Genealogical Society of the African Diaspora and a member of the Afro-American Historical Association of the Niagara Frontier. How, Sharon, how do you do it all? How do all of you women do it all? It's so amazing. So amazing. Have we got you here?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I'm here.
Ah, Sharon,
thank you so much. My letter is a little bit different than some of the others because I was still in the realm of Kamala's response to critics. And so I'll share what I shared. I call you my sister. I call you my sister jubilantly. I see the shoes that you are racing to fill, and they are large. However, we are not daunted by their size or their unique style because we hold these truths. We hold these truths. We will hold these truths. I was born in the state of South Carolina. And by the time I was 5 years old, we had migrated to Buffalo, New York. And my father was the son, grandson, and great-grandson of sharecroppers. And he needed to leave that land of red dirt and cotton fields and prejudice. For him, only one of your three words mattered: community. The other two, equality and justice, must have occurred somewhere else. Community for him meant family, both immediate and distant, but community was not enough to ensure his safety, to ensure his life. So he left the South with millions of others who also left the terror of the South. For centuries, we counted the injustices that occurred daily in our lives and believed that perhaps we would be the next. The injustices would end, we would march, we would protest, we would boycott and gain an inch or sometimes several inches, but inevitably we found ourselves even further behind. It is time to recover some of what we have lost. While the presidential campaign made us hopeful, you made us even more hopeful. Who would Biden choose? Kamala Harris, candidate for United States Vice President. With jubilation, I looked into your face, and it is the face that I see myself reflected in. You are speaking, Kamala, and we are listening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sharon. We really appreciate that. Yes, and we feel that hope. We do too. The jubilation and the reflection, all of that. Thank you so much. Next, we have Sandra Williams-Bush. Sandra, she is a retired librarian who made history as the first branch manager of the Frank E. Merriweather Jr. Library, which houses the largest resource center of African and African-American history in Central and Western New York. Sandra is also a professional storyteller, specializing in African-American folk tales. She lives in Buffalo, of course, and is a retired librarian. Sandra, are you there?
Yes, and can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. First I want to say, as a librarian, I was always fascinated when Dr. Bertram came into the library, because she always had me thinking, and her research was just so fascinating. I'm proud to be a part of this collection of letter writers. And my letter was inspired by the fact that, well, we all know that Vice President Harris was attacked in a way that others hadn't been attacked, because she was a woman and because she was a woman of color. Dear Vice President Harris, for everything, there is a season. How appropriate that your nomination and your election as Vice President came during the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment, which granted women the right to vote. In addition to Mary Church Terrell, whose name you called, I also call upon the other African-American suffragettes of the time: Frances Ellen Watkins Harper, Mary Ann Shad Carey, Nanny Helen Burroughs, and Ida B. Wells. May they further inspire and guide you through your journey. Thank you for our introduction to Kamala Harris, controlling your narrative in your voice, embracing your heritage and your life experiences. You dashed the rumors of the naysayers who obviously didn't know. They didn't know your character. They didn't know your strength. They didn't know your tenacity. We learned of your love of family and all the forms that have shaped your journey. May they all continue to surround you with love and support. I, along with many other women, stand to be part of your new family. We too support and defend you. One love.
Sandra, thank you so much. That is just wonderful. Amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much. Next, we welcome Dr. Eva Doyle. Dr. Doyle is a community newspaper journalist and a community historian here in Buffalo, New York. Dr. Doyle, are you with us? Do we have you?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. First of all, thank you very much, Dr. Bertram, for including me in this very historic event. I want you to, I have known Dr. Bertram for about 30 years. I don't know if I'm telling
Eva,
my
can you
age.
turn up your mic?
Oh, okay. Let's see. Can you hear me now?
No, not as well.
Okay, I don't know.
There you go.
There we go. That's better.
You're here now?
Yes.
Okay. I was just saying, I want to thank Dr. Bertram. I have known her for about 30 years. And I want to just read part of my letter. Dear Vice President Harris, during the past 11 years in the city of Buffalo, I have presented roses to over 500 notable women in the community here in Western New York. Many of the honorees are on this panel tonight. The awards program is called Roses for Outstanding Women. I have included the following statement in the front of the booklet. Roses are known for their great beauty, and they have a special place in our lives. Like a rose, a woman is special at any age. Roses come in many colors, but the red rose is the one that I present to women, stands out from all of the others. All of the women honored were like these special roses. Although I can't see you and speak to you in person, I would like to present you Vice President Kamala Harris with the Roses for Outstanding Women Award in recognition of your contributions, talent, knowledge, and tremendous leadership. You are an inspiration to women everywhere and to our young girls who need to see the images of powerful women of color. You stand out and make a difference for us all. Women like you encourage us all to be our very best and to reach for the stars. When I see you and hear you speak, I am reminded of so many women of color from the past whose presence has stood out. I once wrote an article entitled A Tribute to Women of Greatness. The goal of the article was to lift up our women and to give them the appreciation for their contributions to our community and to the nation. It was a celebration of women. This letter is a tribute to you, Vice President Kamala Harris. We need your leadership and your guidance in this time of uncertainty in our nation. You have joined the list of Black women who gave us their wisdom, creative energy, leadership, talent, and great power. And like the Honorable Shirley Chisholm, who cracked the glass ceiling so many years ago, you are as unbought and unbossed as she was. We love you for it. We honor you. In tribute to you, the words of the poet Maya Angelou come to mind when she wrote Phenomenal Woman. My sister, Vice President Kamala Harris, that's you. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Dr. Doyle. That was wonderful. And now we have Veronica Golden. Veronica is a licensed master social worker who is committed to community service. She is a member of several community boards and has run for political office. We'd like to welcome you now, Veronica.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Peggy and Jennifer and Melanie and Emily. Thank you so much. Just to give you a little briefing on me and my perspective, I identify with Kamala in a sense because I too ran for office. It was very difficult along the way, especially because I ran against an incumbent. I didn't win in a traditional sense. However, for myself personally and for my community, as in the people I went to school with, the people I struggled in poverty with, it was very much a win because I was bold enough to chase my dreams and fight for justice and equality and a seat at the table. So I'm going to read a little excerpt from my chapter, which is chapter 42. Dear Vice President Harris, my heart is overjoyed and I'm beyond proud of all of what you have accomplished and all of your Black girl magic. Achieving the status of Democratic nominee for vice president and then becoming vice president of the United States was not easy. Please take time for self-care and pat yourself on the back for a job well done. Although the job has hardly just begun, There will be opposition along the way, and people may not always agree, but keep pressing. I listened to you on National Public Radio when you were running for president, and I was very impressed by how strong you stood by policy recommendations, even though they may not have been popular nor pleasing to every demographic. Last year, I too ran for political office. I ran for council member of the Maston District in Buffalo, New York. There were none and still are no women in any of the 9 council member districts here. I have served the community for many years, and I felt my education, volunteer activities, and work experience qualified me to move forward in government, but it did not happen. Even though I didn't win, I know I was brave, and I was told by many that I was an inspiration. I feel the same way about you. I am sure you are well aware of the opposition that is to come during the campaign season and while in office, and yet, like Shirley Chisholm, you are still demanding your seat at the table. Salute.
Thank you so much, Veronica. Maybe you should run again.
Maybe.
Maybe. Thank you so much. That was amazing. Wonderful.
Thank you.
This is just so inspiring. And so I'm just loving the woman power. It's amazing. Now we have Sharon Jordan Holly standing by, ready to jump on. Sharon is a retired librarian, Black bookstore owner, and a world-renowned storyteller. And it is with great honor that we welcome her to read her letter. Are you here? Yes, Sharon. Beautiful background.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. And thank you, Peggy and Jennifer, for what you are doing, for allowing us to print our letters. And I hope that Vice President Harris will invite us to the White House so we may read it for her at some point in time. My letter has to do with jump rope rhymes because I believe that our history must be made important to young people. And young people often get it when it's in a rhyme. And so I wrote, "Dear Vice President Kamala, I love the sound of your name. It's soothing, melodic, and reminds me of jump rope rhymes of my youth, when little black girls got together to play with clothesline rope on broken sidewalks. Although it was fun and play, it was the beginning of a sisterhood that strengthened over the years. Remember? Kamala, Kamala, turn all around. Kamala, Kamala, touch the ground. Kamala, Kamala, go upstairs. Kamala, Kamala, say your prayers. Kamala, Kamala, what you say? Vice President of the USA." Yes. The journey that you are embarking upon will usher applause and spew venom, often in the same space. However, be encouraged. Hold your head up high, break the ceiling, and touch the sky. We'll see you on Black Lives Matter Plaza in 2021. Blessings, Sharon Jordan Holly. Thank you.
That was beautiful. I saw Dr. Peggy's head bopping, and I know that we all felt it. We were all there with you in that moment. Thank you so much for sharing. And our next reader is Marnetta Malcolm. Marnetta is a former Buffalo radio sales promoter and marketing executive, and she is the founder of a number of community events, including Black Tie for Black History, a Black history event that highlights Black community leaders. Marnetta? Is she with us?
All right, can you hear me now? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bertram, Peggy, and Jennifer, and to all the wonderful women that are sitting on this panel. I just got a short message for us. We are enough. We are often undervalued, often underpaid. The equity is not there, but my message is, yeah, we're enough. She's proof she won. Here's my letter. Dear Kamala, I've watched you, admired you, and have so much respect for you. You are the epitome of a strong Black woman, smart, graceful, and filled with grit. I'm counting on you to becoming a bigger advocate for equality for minorities and women and I will support you, and I wish you an overabundance of success. You give our young Black women and women of color so much to hope for, that they too can become anything they want, even the Vice President of the United States. I supported you, and I worked my heart out helping people to get out and vote and help make history her story. Biden-Harris 2020, upward, onward, upward, and beyond.
Oh, thank you so much, Marnetta. That
Her
is
story.
yes. Wonderful. Next, we have Vanetta Rhodes. Vanetta is a mother, educator, administrator, and advocate. She's co-founder of the Western New York Childcare Action Team, a member of Ujima Theatre Company, and a most distinguished queen of, here we go, I have to get my American sororities correct, Malika Kambe Umfazi sorority. Vanetta, you can correct me there. Welcome. And it is so great to have you here to read your letter tonight. Are you here? Are you off mute?
Yes. Yes. Can you hear me?
Did I get your sorority right?
Yes, you did. Thank you.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, thank you so much. So over to you.
Okay, thank you very much. And thank you, everybody. This is wonderful, so inspiring. So I'm just on fire from everything I heard. What I wrote is a love letter. I call it a love letter. It's a poem, but it's a love letter to Vice President Kamala Harris, encouraging everyone to remember as women our power, especially in the power to vote. This is called Vote, Period. I called my mom and she said, vote, period. She said it feels like the 1960s again, deep structured racism in a planned type of organization of bad cops and clans go hand in hand, repeated assault of the Black man and woman, period. Make your voice count, period. Be like the 1980s on this November 3, have more bounce to the ounce like the DJs at skating arenas. Let's dance circles around the truth, closing tight the middle, protecting the future of our youth, period. A communal reclamation, a one-word nation flying stealth. And this time we have you surrounded in a bigly way. Not on this election day. Let a real motion be carried in Supreme Court of Human Rights, where your personal is political. Black votes matter and don't believe the hype. Period. Vote, period. Go to the polls, ballot boxes, and post offices. Wear your mask, gloves, and social distance yourselves away from rulers who want monarchy instead of love-based parties. Period. Vote, period. Vote early and vote now. If you don't know, you better ask somebody how. Period. Our ancestors died for this, brother. Period. And we can no longer let anybody lie for this, brother. Period. Vote, period. Vote, period. When it comes to the survival of humanity, there is no other choice, only voice, period. Your vote is your voice, period. Vote, period. Peace.
Woo! Thank you, Vanetta. Amazing spoken word. We love it. Next, of course, we have Tamika Maline. Am I pronouncing that correct? Maline? Tamika is currently a correctional police officer and is a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. She has a master's in public administration from the University at Albany and serves as the president of the New Jersey chapter of the International Foundation of Women. We'd like to welcome you now, Tamika. And I apologize if I didn't get your last name right.
It was correct.
Okay, good.
First,
Welcome.
Thank you. And good evening, everyone. I wanted to first thank Dr. Bertrand for allowing me to be a part of this project. And I wanted to address my letter that refers to, first and foremost, my pride in witnessing history and my hope for a step towards equality. Now I'm going to read my letter. Dear Vice President Harris, I am so proud to have witnessed our first Black president and now our first Black female vice president of the most powerful country in the world, the United States of America. What joy it brings to raise two Black boys and truly mean it when I tell them that they can be whatever they want to be and that they can dream big. As a Black woman and a member of our amazing sorority, Alpha Kappa Alpha, I wish you and our future President Biden a successful term in the White House. I pray that you both are able to make the necessary changes to bring our country together to become what we know it can be. A country founded and built on the shoulders of immigrants, a country that loves and respects all of its citizens, no matter what the color of their skin, and that they will be judged only by the content of their character. I know that you and Biden are capable of bringing our country closer to where it needs to be. Thank you for being the strong, brave, and beautiful Black woman that you are and representing all women as you make your way to the White House. And I know you will continue to make us proud throughout your term as our Vice President. You are history in the making and a force to be reckoned with.
Amazing, Tamika. Thank you so much. I love it keeps dipping in and out, but I absolutely love it looks like a crown when it flicks forward.
Yeah, I'm currently Mrs. International 2024 for this tourism organization.
Oh,
nice. Congratulations. Nice.
Oh, so amazing. Wow, that was amazing. So many beautiful words that we heard tonight. Wonderful letters, powerful women. What a group to be sitting amongst this evening. It's been absolutely wonderful.
And if you haven't had a chance yet, and if you read tonight, I highly recommend that you take a second to go into the chat and read the comments that people are leaving for you, because it is truly amazing, just the feedback that each and every one of our readers and letter writers have gotten over the course of this hour. What an amazing night. I'm so grateful to be part of this. And so please take a moment, even if you didn't read, you just want to see the support that is really being shared tonight. Take a look at the chat. It's really worth reading. And now it's time, speaking
Emily,
of the chat.
I don't want to interrupt, but I think we missed one of our readers, Celeste Lawson.
Did we?
She's in the chat. She said she was scheduled to read. So
Celeste, we apologize. Didn't see your name in the list, so I apologize for that. I did not mean to skip over you, and I do not have a bio for you, but I'm sure we would love to hear from you. Celeste Lawson.
Hi, how are you? I'm glad to be here. I'm a longtime fan of Dr. Bertram and Jennifer and many of the women that are part of this event. I've known them to be movers and shakers for many, many years. So this is a great group. And I appreciate your hosting. And thank you, Peggy, for inviting me to be part of this. My letter, I'm a big fan of serendipity. And my letter sort of addresses that element of the universe aligning and putting you where you need to be at the time you're supposed to be there. And it's not always easy. So I'll read a couple of paragraphs. And actually mine is to Dear Senator Harris, although I knew she would ultimately win, but that was my title, so I can change it to Vice President. Dear Senator Harris, greetings, dear sister Queen Kamala. Welcome to your destiny. I believe your journey was charted by the alignment of stars on the day you were born. Your DNA is rich with compassion and determination, reflecting your birth into a family of generational activists committed to civil rights and a quest to advance global understanding among all people. Your life trajectory was clear even though you may not have understood at such a young age the courage of your parents and grandparents. I wonder, did you hear the lilting voice of your mother, encouraging you, praising you for your relentless pursuit in the cause for justice for the most vulnerable among us? Standing on the shore of the Indian Ocean as you scattered her ashes, I believe she sang to you in the beautiful voice of the young girl from Tamil Tadur who was adored for her gift of singing. She sang of her love for you and her deep pride that you have donned the family mantle, the familial tradition of urgent re-examination of values in our republic. As a woman whose formative years were filled with engagement and interactions among diverse cultures and perspectives on heritage, your life is a composite of scholarship, science, creativity, and activism, a world view that is broad and open and embracing of the change that is critically needed at this time. You are standing at the threshold of political change that will resonate across continents, awaken dreams seated in the field of infinite possibilities, and reignite hope in the hearts of many where hope has flickered and dimmed. It will not be easy, but you have walked across a bed of nails, burning coals, and searing criticism and survived. I believe you have the heart of a lion, the soul of a warrior, and the love of your ancestors to hold you up. We, in the village of your supporters, will be there with them. You are now indelibly printed on the pages of history. Stand tall, be strong. We're there with you, and we are counting on you. Peace and blessings.
Wow. Wow, amazing, Celeste. Thank you so much. I'm so glad we didn't actually miss you.
Yeah.
Wow, that was beautiful. The Indian Ocean raised me, actually. I grew up on the Indian Ocean. It's the ocean you get in Western Australia. So that was very beautiful, moving. I loved it. Thank you, Celeste. So I think we're going to, Emily, move into our question time.
It is time for our Q&A, but we would first like to thank everyone. Thank you so much to all the letter writers who lent their words, their thoughts, their voices, their emotions, their everything to this project. And tonight, to be able to be here to give their words life and a forum. It's great to be able to share it with others because that's really what it's about, isn't it? And so we would like to also offer that opportunity to hear more from the individuals and take any questions. I did scroll through the chat as we were going through the event. I didn't see questions. I might have missed some. So if I did miss a question that you put into the chat, please make sure at this time, raise a hand if you know how to do that in the chat. We have Dr. Peggy, Dr.
Yeah,
Peggy Brooks-Bertram.
I have a couple of things I'd like to say. One is that Ellen Grant, who works at the mayor's office, has been a long time friend and comrade of mine. And she also is a writer. And we love you, Ellen. I'm so glad to see you here tonight. So glad. And Ellen has completed her own book. And has it come out yet, Ellen? I don't know, she needs to unmute to hear me. But anyhow, I want to acknowledge her.
Yeah,
but
it's out.
Yeah, so what is the title of it, Ellen?
It's called 14 Commandments to Powering Up Your Career. It is on Amazon, but I'm trying to, keep it kind of low key. I don't want people to feel that I'm pushing my book because I want you to get all the glory for the wonderful work you're doing here.
Let me tell you something. Black women don't have anything to be afraid of from Black women. So you can push your book. I'm not bothered at all. I'd be surprised if you didn't. And the second thing, talking about, pushing items, I see my dear friend of 20 or 30 years, Jacqueline Jean-Baptiste, a Haitian woman who is, I've been friends with for years. Jacqueline is a filmmaker and took it upon herself. Can you hear Jacqueline? Jacqueline, can you hear? I don't think so. Can we unmute Jacqueline?
Yeah.
Oh,
I did not know you were going to talk to me because I
Yes, but you don't have to know everything, Jacqueline. It's
Okay.
all right. But Jacqueline is a wonderful friend. She and I traveled down the Nile River and went to Egypt together back in 1992. She's been my friend since then.
That's a long time ago. I live at Peggy's house.
Yes, for a year. So she lived with me while she went to graduate school at UB. But Jacqueline is so wonderful to me because she had the courage to start out to make her own film on Haitian art. And we'll be talking about that at a later date. But she is a talented woman and a dear friend of mine. And I'm so happy. And she wrote a letter for the book. And although she did not have, wasn't participating tonight, I called her up at the last minute and said, Jacqueline, you have to get on Zoom. Jennifer will send you the hookup.
And I did not have a book yet.
Okay, it's on the way, right?
I did not have a copy of the book yet.
But
that was a beautiful evening. Congratulations, everybody, every readers. And I feel very glad to be part of that group tonight.
Thank you so much. And you're my dear friend, and I didn't want to forget you. So, okay, ladies, the MCs, take it from there.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Dr. Bertram. And now we have the moment we've been waiting for. We've been waiting to find out who would be the winner of the book that they will be able to take away tonight, because we did have a raffle and there's a free copy of Dear Kamala, Women Right to the New Vice President. And Mel, do you have that name? I'm wondering if we got it.
I was going to do the drum roll.
Yes.
Oh, the drum roll.
Do the drum roll.
Drum roll.
Can I do the drum roll? But who's going to do the announcement? I feel like it will be Dr. Bertram. Are you doing the announcement for us of who is taking your book, or is it Jennifer? Or
Jennifer can do it. It's fine with me.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, let me do the drum roll.
Okay, please do. Or we can do Sharon's jump rope.
My dog is jumping drum roll.
Or we can do Sharon's jump rope. Well, the name that we have selected is Mr. Keith McKnight.
Do we have
Keith McKnight?
Keith, I believe it's Takise McKnight.
Yes, I can't say
it. Keith.
Yes, congratulations.
Oh, you're a very lucky lady.
Thank you.
Yes,
That's
thank you for being here. Are you from Buffalo?
I am actually from Rochester, New York, and my daughter actually wrote a letter, and she was wondering if it was included in the letter. She's a Girl Scout.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
is this one of the Girl Scouts that we had been referring to?
Yes, Ariana McKnight.
Yes, Dr. Peggy, you had told us about Girl Scouts writing in the book.
And I've refreshed my memory, Jennifer. I'm putting.
She was just beautiful. Your daughter's just beautiful. She's a leader. We had 11 young ladies from California at the date before everything was supposed to go to the publishers, said our girls want to write something, and they did. They wrote about climate change, and they wrote about so many things. And then we said, well, let's open it up to our Girl Scouts in Buffalo and Rochester. And your daughter was one of the people that wrote a letter, and your daughter's letter appeared in one of the national reviews, I believe. They talked about it. Was it in LA Magazine?
Yeah, LA Times.
Yes. And because these letters, it gave me hope, because these young girls under the age of 18 wrote about climate change, the gun control. It was so many things. And I said, oh gosh, these girls giving me hope, because at their age, I probably did not know about all the issues that they wrote about.
Right.
And so it was excellent. So I'm glad you won. And I know that I think your daughter said she wanted to hold, you told me she wanted to host one of these book chats in Rochester. And I know Dr. Bertram is up for it.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
so the thing is, yes, that would be great. So this was a Buffalo Women History Month Buffalo feature, but we're so glad you're here and you took the time to share your time with us tonight, and you won a signed copy of the book.
Thank you.
So
Thank you. It's a great
congratulations.
opportunity. Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
And for all of us, Jennifer?
Peggy, I wanted to say, Emily, and I wanted to say thank you to Emily and Mel for being a co-host and bringing your energy. And you know what? It was not your mistake on the list, because I think when I printed out the list, some names got cut off, and I'm so sorry. And so, but
It's
the thing
okay.
is, one thing is Miss Celeste is always the ultimate lady. And what I know, she was very, Celeste was being very modest, because she is the ultimate actress and writer of plays, and she's a writer. That's what she is. And she was being very modest, not telling everyone about everything she does. But Celeste, thank you so much for being here. And most definitely, she raised her hand and she said, I want to be a part of it. And I'm so glad that you.
So we did want to say before we end tonight's event, because my goodness, time flies when you're having fun, correct? We really told everyone we were going to go from 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock, but I'm sure there is no one in the crowd who is complaining about how long this took. This was a wonderful event with so much great information and emotion, and just so much interaction. I'm so proud of just everyone who gave a little bit of themselves, even within the chat. So this is fantastic. We'd like to let you know that there were some questions about the book. How do you get a hold of the book? There are many ways to get a hold of the book. And I'm told that the library will be posting a link or two in the chat if you're interested in getting a hold of a copy for yourself. So there's that. And I believe they also will put up a graphic. I'm not sure for sure, but I was told that the information will come up on your screen so that you know where to get a copy of your own book.
You can definitely get them on Amazon. And then there are a couple of local booksellers that might be worth supporting. Well, I would say definitely worth supporting.
Definitely
going local where you can. Talking Leaves have it, and also Zawadi Books as well, which is an amazing.
There you go.
Just around the corner from me. So yes, those are two great local stores you can go to. Zawadi and Talking Leaves, or Amazon.
And our hosts for this evening, of course, the Buffalo and Erie County Library, they tell us there were no questions. So I believe every woman who, or anybody who came to listen tonight had everything that they came to get out of this event. So that's fantastic, right? It's wonderful. And, you know, we want to make sure that we have the opportunity to hear one more time from Dr. Peggy Brooks-Bertram, a closing statement, if you'd like to address all the ladies and or anybody who might be watching. I'm sorry if I keep saying ladies, and then you have some gentlemen out there as well. If you'd like to address them one final time.
One of the most important things that I've discovered here is that the power of listening also. Each night of my life, my husband reads to me until I fall asleep. And it has been the kind of thing that has helped me enormously in my life. For one time, I heard him read the entire life of Pablo Picasso, thousands of pages. On another occasion, he read to me the story of Count Dracula. I love Dracula. We all have things that we love, because if you hear it instead of see it, you realize the depth of the writing and what the writer did. He read to me about the exploration of the Missouri River and the Native Indian tribes along the river and their encounters with the guys who were trying to tame the West. Tonight, you read to me. I had a chance to study your letters, reading them over and over and over again, but I hadn't heard them read to me. So I want to thank you so much for reading your letters to me. They were very powerful. But I want to also close by saying that when you agreed to participate in this project, you agreed earlier than the women that the Washington Post had asked them to write a letter. And they did. But they wrote only when they knew, Kamala, that you had won. We wrote believing and knowing that you were going to win. That's a different kind of letter. We wrote willing you to win. We blew breath in you. Our original title was Dear Kamala, let's put the wind beneath her wings. We willed you to win, and so you did. Thank you.
And thank you, Dr. Bertram, to the letter writers, of course, and everyone who participated tonight. Of course, a big thank you to the Buffalo and Erie County Public Library who hosted this event tonight.
Thank you so much. It's been an honor. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
And thank you for allowing us to MC tonight. Again, I'm Emily Lampa. I co-host with Melanie Camp every weekday on AM Buffalo at 10 a.m. So hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. But have a fantastic night, everybody. It was wonderful to spend the past hour and a half with you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bless you. Enjoy your time and keep writing.
Keep writing.
So much talent in Western New York.
Thanks, Emily.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Oh, I see a beautiful little Emily.
Little, the future, right?
Yes.
Thank you, Melanie. Thank you, Emily. Thank you, Joy. And the library team rocks. And ladies, excellent.
Excellent.
Thank you. Hmm?